The Federal Reserve raised its benchmark short-term interest rate by a half a percentage point today.
It's to help curb the worst inflation that we've seen in 40 years. It's the largest hike that we've seen since 2000 and puts it near the highest point since the pandemic hit 2 years ago. The Fed will likely follow today's move with the fastest pace of hikes in 30 years. The Fed will also start to reduce its $9 trillion balance sheet. Reducing the Fed's holdings will further raise loan costs throughout the economy. So what does it all mean for you and your wallet? We will have an expert in studio to break it all down a little later in the newscast. Turning now to election results. Voters in Wyoming voting down a proposed income tax that would have funded police, fire, and parks.
Fox 17's Michael Martin takes a look at the results and what this all means for the city moving forward.
Two proposals here on the ballot in the city of Wyoming for folks to consider on Tuesday. Because they were tied together, neither of them will be enacted. So property taxes won't be lowered and an income tax will not be enacted that would have seen more money go to parks and public safety.
The two issues were tied together.
On Tuesday, the people of Wyoming went to the polls and were asked to vote on two proposals.
So it's basically changing our taxation system to a system that was a combination property tax and income tax.
First, they approved a proposal that would lower property taxes, but, and this is a big but, they did not approve the second proposal, which would have enacted a city income tax to help fund police, fire, and the Parks Department, though both had to be approved by voters for either to take effect.
We can't cut the millage without finding another revenue source. So that's why they were put together in the way they were.
The city has struggled to staff police officers and fire staff in recent years as requests for service go up. The new income tax would have allowed them to hire more than a dozen patrol officers and hire 27 more full-time firefighters.
We know that our residents have an expectation that we're going to respond to certain calls. And there's sometimes when we just can't get to them because they're a low priority. Currently, we're very dependent upon other communities around us to support our fire department. That's unfair to those communities.
Despite the election results, City Manager Curtis Holt says the city and the people who make it function will persevere despite the financial limitations.
We'll seek solutions. We'll find alternatives. We'll figure out a way to provide the best service we possibly can for the financing that we have.
And of course, City Council can always bring the proposals up again at later elections.
The next one is potentially November if they choose to do something then. But again, Council's going to have to make that decision.
So the people of the city of Wyoming will have to live with neither item passing at this point, but what will happen in the near future remains to be seen. For now, in the city of Wyoming, Michael Martin, Fox 17 News.
Michael, thank you. If you want to see the results from any of yesterday's elections, you can head to fox17online.com. And there you can find a list with all the races right there on our homepage.